So I began this video trying to draw the scenery for the first scene in 9 issue 2, but it turned into a study of how forests look. So yeah, hope you like that. Their forests are good. Yeah. So I have to study a lot of forests for 9 because a lot of it is going to take place in various Canadian forests. Canadian-inspired forests, I should say. This is good because forests are fun to draw and they're cool and they're a good setting because they have a lot of variation to them. Just looking at just photographs of like forests near me and like looking at trails and stuff, like forests are very distinct. You can have like varying sizes of trees and, you know, there's different rock formations. Like if you're in a forest that's like near a cliffside, it's very different than like a marshy forest. So yeah, lots of variation. Things can be very distinct, but there's also the danger of everything looking the same because forests are so organic and wild that, you know, what if I stick trees in the wrong places and it looks like they're in a totally new part of the forest? It's tough. So yeah, so I'm definitely studying what different forests look like to kind of figure out how to make different areas look distinct, and then also making sure that I can draw a consistent piece of scenery. Yeah. So yeah, I've been looking at a lot of forests, pictures of forests and like trails and Canadian landscape stuff for 9 because I am working currently on all of the locations for 9 issue 2. I know in the last vlog I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try and get all this done during Inktober, but that was a lie. I was lying to myself. I cannot get all of that done, so it's happening now. Bones and I have done a bit of sketching on the locations, like we've worked on them for some live streams, and just like in our spare time, but not too much progress has been made because I need to do a lot of research, and studying, similar to how I had to do a lot of prep work to actually design the characters for 9 because there needs to be a lot of exploration before you get down to the nitty-gritty of like actually designing the thing that will show up in the comic. So yeah, that's where I'm at with locations and forests. Through the study I've done here, there's so much overlap in forests. I find when I look at a picture of a forest, I'm like, oh, this is overwhelming. There's so much stuff. There's so many bushes, there's so many leaves and trees, and it's hard to like parse them. Like they can't be pulled apart because they're kind of integrated together. So I have to really sit down and focus. And like understanding that definitely has helped like with drawing a forest and making sure that it looks real, is understanding that like, yeah, things mesh together. It's not a whole bunch of trees in rows like an orchard. They intermingle, you know. Sometimes you'll see two trees and you cannot tell which leaves belong to which tree. So yeah, there's lots of overlap. A lot of stuff gets covered up by like foliage in the foreground. So understanding like how to make a tree look like it's far off in the distance. And like with the study I used, I kept like everything that was very close to have a lot more texture and definition, and stuff in the back kind of gets hazy. I used lighter colors to show like some atmospheric dilution to show that it's far off. I really need to work on lighting, because here it is not very clear where the sunlight is coming from at all, though I am very happy with the color work. I didn't do any eyedropping. I didn't take a photo and eyedrop all the colors. I looked at the photo and I tried to pull the colors, and I'm really proud of how it looks. You guys can't see the photograph because I had it on my other screen and didn't put it in the video, so oops, sorry, but I like how it turned out. I got some very vivid colors. But I just looked at the photo and tried to match the colors as best I could. I think I heightened them quite a bit. I made things a lot more saturated than they were in the photo. But I was really surprised by like the colors that actually came out. I was trying to like make the color relativity work without like testing anything. Does that make sense? I tried to really look at the photo and be like, okay, what color is that? So I started out with using very like blue dark greens for shadows and stuff in the foreground, and I noticed like as I went further back, like it had a lot more kind of lime yellowy green colors and blues where you can see the sky poking through, like really like pastel-y blues and stuff. And then the tree trunks, I'm like, they're not exactly brown. They're like a really gray yellow. So yeah, because like when I look at a tree, my initial reaction is like, okay, the leaves are like forest green and the trunk is like a reddy brown color. But like when you actually look at a forest, it's like, no, like tree bark can be very gray and like the leaves can be a whole bunch of different colors. I also realized that for the opening scene of 9 Point, it takes place in like early October, at least the first scene. So there would be leaves that are slowly beginning to change color. I think Bones and I looked it up and it's like there's 30% color change by the time it would be taking place. So I drew things in the wrong season, I guess, because this is more of like a summery forest. Gotta be mindful of that. Oof, so much to think about. I'm glad I have Bones to remind me, because I was halfway through my study and he was like, you know what happens during like early fall, right? And I was like, what? So yeah. In the future, I will make sure to research how forests look in the fall when they are beginning to change color. I also drew Marble Too Small. He comes in at the end of the video because I was like, I want to add in a character. And then I tried and I was like, oh no, this is not good. So I really need to practice with fitting characters into composition. I mean, like when I'm actually drafting the comic, I'll account for where the character is. Like, because this was more of a landscape study than like a character sticking into scenery study. So in the future, I will definitely make sure to account for how marble would look in this scenery. But I tried. It turned out okay, I guess. I'm not happy with it, but I like the scenery. Not so big of a fan of how marble turned out. Try new things, see what works. Yeah. I'm hurrying to try and get a lot of this stuff done ASAP. So we want to kickstart 9 Point. The second issue, we want to kickstart it sometime in 2019, probably closer to the springtime. So I really gotta motor my little butt and get this stuff done so that I can start working on pages. Like, I'm so close, I can taste it. I know the scenery is probably gonna take a while. However, I'm still so close. I'm closer than I've ever been. So here we go. Issue number 2, here I come. All of the characters are very close to being done, except for a lot of the extras and background characters. We've worked on them in a couple of streams, but they still need a little bit of polishing up work. And of course, I have to keep working on these locations. For the most part, you will see all of those on these vlogs from now on, and probably in some of our Saturday streams, which happen every Saturday, as is in the name, around 2 p.m. Eastern time. Check them out, man. Though we might also work on Magpie pages for those, or other projects that are coming up. I don't know. We'll see. But yes, so you'll see lots of me working on setting and location for the next little while on these vlogs, and also finishing up the extras. And there's also secret stuff that won't be shown on the vlogs that I'll have to find time to do. Oof. There's like secret characters and locations that I don't want to like show on here because it would be spoilery. So far, I've made progress with figuring out these foresty things, and I've also made progress on the capital Catzel. We worked on that in a previous stream, and it's getting there. With every iteration, I get closer and closer to this hecking castle. I know a lot more about castles than I used to because we did a bunch of research on like what makes an effective castle. Yeah, it's getting there. We're getting the feel for it. Now I really need to flesh out the architecture and make sure I know what's going on. It's a big place, so there can be a lot of like, I don't know, there's some rooms over here maybe, but like I really got to figure out where the major locations are in this thing. And then I have to design the city around the castle, and that's like freaking me out a little bit because that sounds so daunting. I've never tried to draw an entire city before, so trying new things, man. 9 Point is forcing me to challenge all my comfort zones. Ooh woo. So before I've like have all this stuff drawn, it feels really daunting. I felt this way with the characters too, where I was like, there's so many, and then I sat down and I was like, oh, there's not that much, and I really didn't notice until I had most of them completed already, and I was like, oh, that only took like a little while. So I think once I get more of these done, I'll feel a lot better about them, and they'll definitely start going faster, like the better I get with creating settings, especially because like once you have one done, you can get the other feel for the rest of them. So I'm hoping it'll go a lot quicker once I really get down to the brass tacks. And what else is going on? Oh, I'm also resuming work on the Magpie, as you've probably seen. I'll be using it for a lot of footage, for say Bones's talks and vlogs and stuff, because we want to get back to posting the Magpie again. A lot of people have like shown up and been like, hey, where's the Magpie updates? And I'm like, oh, sorry, we're busy. So yeah, I'm finally gonna get back into Magpie. Is it crazy to try and do 50 Magpie pages in 2 months? Because I kind of want to try and have 50 pages ready for January. So it would be about like 1 page a day. That would still give me a little bit of like, that would still give me time to like take breaks and days off and stuff. But it's still a lot of pages. And on top of that, I'm doing other challenges and still have to make lots of video content, though I'll be using Magpie as a lot of video footage. So, I don't know. I doubt I can do it, but I kind of want to try and hope I get really close, you know? Shoot for the moon and land among the stars, I guess. So yeah, tentative goal, I guess? Sort of goal? Don't hold me to this one, please? Because I have a feeling this will stress me out a lot. Oh well. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and do lots of Magpie pages, and hopefully we can come back strong posting in the new year, and I can have a nice big buffer, because for the longest time I was working on Magpie week to week, and it was the worst. It drove me crazy. So much stress, especially at the end of every month. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe I can get a buffer once again. Finally, after all these years! That's one thing about working on webcomics is, like, I used to worry a lot about, like, hitting the deadline and getting all my pages done, which was really good when I started, because it gave me a really good work ethic, and I have a big backlog of comic pages because of this. However, Bones and I eventually decided to, like, stop worrying about it a whole bunch and take a break. So if you're ever, like, super overwhelmed and you're working on your comic week to week, it's okay to take a little hiatus. Past Ursula would, like, smack me for saying this, but, like, it's okay to take a break if you need to, like, recharge and work on other stuff and, like, create a buffer again. It's been really good. I'm like, excited to get back into comics now, after having taken a break for, like, Inktober and, like, putting books and stuff together. Take a break. Go do something else. It'll make you want to come back. Also coming back and looking at Magpie pages that I was, like, in the middle of making, I'm like, oof, these compositions. What were you thinking, Ursula? So that's fun. But yeah, I'm happy to have these vlogs back. Oh, also, I'm doing NaNoWriMo as well. I'm not going to do any vlogs about it, because that's too much. And I've already got so much webcomic work to do. But, I'm writing about dragon riders, and there's tons of LGBT characters, and it's a YA book. And I'm having a lot of fun writing it. So far I'm keeping up with the Nano quota every day. I don't think I'll do anything with this story. Like, I know Bones is planning on doing some publishing with his. I'm just happy to be writing again. I haven't done it for a very long time. I especially haven't participated in an actual Nano for years. And I'm really happy to be back at it. I don't know if this is silly, but I kind of feel like I'm getting an idea out of my head so I can move past it and, like, free up room for new ideas, because I've been thinking about this story for, like, a while. It's very inspired by, like, this idea I've had of I've always kind of wanted to write, like, an anti-hero type character, or someone who's, like, driven to become a villain. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. I don't know. So yeah, I think that's all I have. Thank you so much for listening. Good luck to everyone who's working on your comics. I'm always so happy when people come and say, like, oh my gosh, I started my comic. And I'm just so flattered that you want to tell me, because that's so exciting and so nice. And I'm really happy for all of you. So go work on your comics. Go do amazing things. Take a break if you need to. And, I don't know, take care of yourself. Brush your teeth. That's good advice, right? Okay. I'm holding my dog, because he's a troublemaker. And he's ripping up papers on the floor. Yeah, if you ever want to talk to me and Bones, we are on all of the social medias. We mostly hang out on Twitter. That's where we talk the most. So if you ever want to talk to us, just go see our Twitter and say hey. Yeah, thanks. Bye.